First Peoples Hall speaks to the history of Indigenous peoples on this land since time immemorial. The Hall's exhibitions ask visitors to consider First Nations, Métis, and Inuit experiences, perspectives, and knowledge through engaging objects, artwork, and stories. Visitors are welcome to the gallery with the words, "As long as the sun will shine, as long as the rivers will flow, as long as the grasses grow." This important reminder shared with the museum by the Kitigan Zibi Anishinaabeg Circle of Elders sets the tone for the stories within and reflects the ways in which Indigenous histories and knowledges are deeply tied to the lands and the environments which sustain and support us as human beings. The development of the exhibitions in First Peoples Hall was guided by the recommendations of the National Task Force on Museums and First Peoples, and a diverse advisory group with members from across Canada provided input and guidance to the curatorial team.
This opening section of the hall gives you a sense of the incredible diversity of Indigenous nations from across what is now Canada, divided into 9 geographic regions. Here we have 11 mannequins reflecting the diversity in dress across space and time. Here we see a Haudenosaunee women's regalia featuring Geogo dress and a skirt and leggings worn by Greta Wright from Six Nations, Ontario. In the cases along the rail, we can see in more detail how the diversity is reflected in materials, techniques, and the tools used to make these pieces. Here we present 6 varieties of moccasin patterns from across North America. This shows us the many different ways that the vamp, or the top of the moccasin, is attached to the sole. That same diversity is found in the knowledges shared by ancestors, which in turn reinforce relationships and ways of knowing that are unique to place and individuals. Here we have a hide coat said to have been worn by Métis leader Louis Riel during the Northwest Resistance of 1885. Here we have 11 pairs of snowshoes from across what is now Canada. Depending on location, each pair was created to carry their wearer across a specific type of snow. Best used in slushy snow, the tracks of these children's snowshoes mimic that of a bear. I'm standing in front of one of my favorite parts of the First Peoples Hall, where museum visitors can see how traditional knowledge and archaeology work together and also learn more about ancestors of the Indigenous people living in the Maritimes, Great Lakes, and prairies. And right here is an area that shows how some of the first Inuit who moved east from Alaska 800 years ago adapted to life in the Canadian Arctic. This is a reconstruction of an early Inuit house. Because there are no trees, roofs were made with bones from bowhead whales. This kind of house isn't used anymore, but warm clothing definitely is. Examples of men's and women's traditional summer and winter skin clothing are also presented here. Sealskin for warmer seasons and caribou during the winter. No matter the season, a parka or a mauti does more than simply keep someone warm. Clothing styles and materials let others know where a person is from. Although styles and materials may change, manufactured fabrics like cotton duffel are most common today. Clothing remains a link with the past and continues to help transfer knowledge and communicate a person's home and history to others.